My husband said I must give my salary to his mother. What I discovered after broke my marriage. A few days after my wedding, I thought I had finally entered a peaceful life. I was wrong, because just 7 days into marriage, my husband said something that changed everything forever, something I never saw coming. I'm Sandra. I just married Matt, a man I trusted for 3 years. He was sweet, funny, calm, the type of man who made marriage feel safe, or so I thought, until that night. We were sitting on the couch, everything normal, TV on, lights low, then suddenly Matt turned to me and said something strange. "We need to talk about finances." I smiled, thinking it was something simple, bills, savings, maybe joint account, but what came next froze my smile instantly. He looked at me and said, "We are giving your salary to my mother." I blinked. I laughed nervously because I thought it was a joke, but then he added something worse. "She will teach you how to spend it properly." That was the moment everything felt wrong. I asked him slowly, "My salary? To your mother?" And he said yes, like it was normal. Then he explained the system, and that's when my stomach dropped. 50% goes to me for personal use, 25% for household, 25% for family gifts. I stared at him in shock because I realized something terrifying. This wasn't a suggestion, it was a rule in his family. But then came the most disturbing part. Matt looked at me and said, "This is how a real wife behaves in our family." At that moment, I didn't recognize my husband anymore. It felt like I married a stranger. That night, I couldn't sleep, but it wasn't just Matt that scared me. It was his mother, Linda. Because now everything she said before marriage started making sense. We have a system in this family. A good wife follows structure. At the time, I ignored it. Now it felt like a trap. The next morning, I made a decision. If they wanted control, I would give them exactly what they wanted. But quietly, I would find the truth. So when Matt woke up, I smiled and said, "You're right. Let's follow your mother's system." His eyes lit up instantly. He thought I was broken in. He had no idea what was coming. By that same day, I transferred my salary into the joint account. I even texted Linda, "I'm ready to learn your system." Her reply came fast, and it chilled me. "We will make you a proper wife." But something about that message felt off, because Linda lived too well. New clothes, luxury bags, expensive lifestyle, but she claimed she followed a strict budget system. So I asked myself one question: where is the money really coming from? That question changed everything. One day when Matt was in the shower, I noticed something in his study. A small black notebook. Something told me, "Don't open it." But I did anyway. And what I saw inside broke everything. Debt, loans, credit card overload, secret spending. Linda, the money expert, was drowning in financial chaos. And in that moment, I realized something shocking. They were not in control. They were hiding something, and I had just found their biggest secret. But the worst part? That was only the beginning, because what happened next would destroy the whole family system they built, and I was the only one holding the truth. I stood there holding that black notebook, and my hands were shaking, because I didn't just see numbers. I saw a pattern, a dangerous one, and suddenly, everything about Linda started to make sense. But then I heard something behind me. The bathroom door opened. Matt was coming out. My heart jumped. I quickly closed the notebook and pushed it back exactly where I found it. I forced a smile, but inside, I was panicking. Because if Matt saw me holding that book, everything would explode too early. That night, I acted normal. I cooked. I smiled. I even laughed at his jokes. But inside me, I was building something dangerous, a plan. Because now I knew one thing clearly: Linda was not a financial expert. She was hiding something big, and I needed proof, real proof. The next day, Linda came to our house again. She walked in like she owned everything, holding her usual folder, smiling too confidently, and then she said something that sent a chill down my spine. "Today, we will review your financial discipline." Matt nodded like a child being trained, but I noticed something strange. Linda's hand was shaking slightly, just a little, but enough for me to see. And that's when I knew she was nervous, too. She sat down and opened her folder. But before she could start speaking, I interrupted her. Softly, politely, but dangerously. I have a question first. Silence. Matt looked at me like I had broken a rule. Linda smiled, but it was forced. What is it, dear? I leaned forward and asked the question that changed everything.
If your system is so perfect, why are you still in debt? The room went dead silent. You could feel the air freeze. Matt turned slowly to his mother. Mom, what is she talking about? Linda's face changed instantly. That calm smile disappeared. Just for a second. But I saw it. She laughed loudly, too loudly, and said, This girl is confused. But her voice cracked at the end. And that crack gave her away. That's when I reached for my bag and placed something on the table. Bank screenshots, loan records, credit alerts, everything I found from that notebook, now printed. I slid it toward Matt and said one line. You should read your mother's real financial system. Matt hesitated. His hands were shaking as he picked up the papers. He read one line, then another. Then his face changed completely. Confusion, shock, then disbelief. He looked at his mother slowly, like he was seeing her for the first time. Mom, is this real? Linda slammed the folder shut, too fast, too aggressive, and shouted, Don't listen to her! But it was too late, because Matt already saw enough. Then something unexpected happened. Linda stood up suddenly, grabbed her phone, and said something that made my stomach drop. I should never have brought you into this house. I froze, because that didn't sound like anger. It sounded like panic. Matt stepped forward. Mom, what does that mean? Linda didn't answer. She just walked toward the door. But before she left, she turned back slowly, looked at me directly, and said something I will never forget. You think you found the truth, but you only saw part of it. Then she left. Silence. Heavy silence. The kind that feels like something is about to explode. Matt turned to me. His voice was shaking. What did she mean by that? I didn't answer, because deep inside me, I felt it too. This wasn't over. Not even close. That night, everything changed. Matt didn't sleep. He kept staring at the ceiling. And at one point, he whispered something that shocked me. I think my whole life was a lie. And then came the final twist of that night. At exactly 2:13 a.m., Matt's phone rang. Unknown number. He picked it up, and I heard only one sentence from his side. Wait, who gave you this number? His face went pale instantly, and that's when I knew. Someone else was watching us. And what came next would completely destroy everything I thought I knew about this marriage. Because Linda wasn't the real problem. She was just the beginning.